All right, I'm happy to rise today to speak on the Energy Legislation Amendment Bill 2023, and what a week to do so. As we know, this bill amends the National Electricity Act 2005 to strengthen the Retailer Reliability Obligation, the RRO, which we've heard a lot about today, the framework established under the National Electricity Law, which was recently amended to enable jurisdictional energy ministers to trigger the RRO. Now, the decision to trigger the RRO, will be made in consultation with the Australian Energy Regulator, the Australian Energy Market Operator, or AEMO, as well as the Treasurer and the Premier. AEMO have been top of mind in my electorate for quite some time now, and there was a great number of Western Victoria's food producers were at the front yesterday expressing their concern with the lack of consultation that they've had over the VNI West project being rolled out by AEMO. Now, that's what happens when food producers are ignored, and it's human nature to want to protect your patch, of course. And these food producers yesterday left their crops. Some spud farmers are in the middle of harvest, and it's not easy to just up and leave your farm in the middle of harvest. As those down in Gippsland. There's some great spuds grown in Gippsland. My next-door neighbours grow spuds for Smiths. Yep, so it's not easy to do that, but they are a passionate and they're a committed bunch, and they brought 22 trucks carrying 45 tractors here yesterday, and they should be congratulated on their conviction and their dedication to this cause. Federal Leader of the Nationals too, David Littleproud, made the trip. We thank him for his support in this issue. And my friend and colleague Anne Webster also made the trip, which was, and Federal Member for Mallee also made the trip. Now, all they're asking for from the government and from AEMO is consultation, and not to be ignored. It's actually not that hard. And if they did that, they're asking also for a serious look at the solution that's been presented. So they recognise that there's a problem. They know there's a problem. They have a solution on the table, and that is Plan B. Now, Plan B, and also let me just state, no one involved in the rally, no one's against renewables. In fact, it's brought a lot of good things to a lot of our communities with the investment in solar farms, wind farms, etc. We just want some common sense in this issue, and we're just asking for a look at the Plan B that Professor Bruce Mountain, Professor Simon Bartlett and Darren Edwards have presented. Now, it's a far more elegant solution which actually presents tangible results in power bill savings if we use existing infrastructure that is already there, and it already needs upgrading anyway. The lines are brittle. It can be done in a far more elegant way. We know if we make food production tougher, prices go up. We're in a cost of living crisis. The last thing we need is for our food and grocery bills to go higher, much less our power bills. So we need to not ignore our food producers to help out with that cost of living. This would be a great way for the government to illustrate that they want to contribute to solving that cost of living crisis in the way of food production. AEMO's, what that report, that Plan B, says is that AEMO's modelling of VNI West shows that wind farms in Western Victoria will lose about 40% of their energy production, and solar farms, up in my patch in particular, is much the same, because the transmission system in the AEMO plan wouldn't be able to accommodate the energy that these farms produce, and they produce a lot. Plan B can. By national and global standards of the variable renewable generation curtailment, it's a really extremely poor outcome. Plan B can actually save energy customers all over Victoria because it costs approximately $5 billion less. Wouldn't you just start there? Everyone in this room needs food producers every single day, and they just want the respect that they deserve. They want to be heard. When we talk about, and AEMO I think is a bit of a, and I hate the word triggered, but it is a bit of a triggering word for those in Western Victoria at the moment. Now, I'll say it again, we're not against renewables. In fact, the investment that it's brought to my patch, we're not against them at all. In fact, great, bring it on. Few questions around the end of life for the solar panels that have gone in, and we've got hundreds of acres that have been put into solar panels. And the other thing that bamboozles me about that is, it's okay to build solar panels on what planning departments and planning schemes deems as valuable agricultural land, and I know it's a solar farm, but again, the differential rates with council rates, very different to irrigated horticultural dry land. And then the afterlife of those solar farms, what's the plan? What's the plan for that? And what's the plan for the land as well? Can we then build on it? So you can put a solar farm there, but you can't put, a dozen houses to help with the housing crisis. Some of this stuff just doesn't make sense. But what does make sense is the Plan B. The Plan B for the VNI West project. Plan A, it's not Plan A. It's Plan 5A, or Option 5A, which is actually about the 8th or 9th option that's come out, but it comes out with 1A, 2A, BC, 3A, BC, and so on and so forth. But Plan B is the one that we want consultation on. So I was talking earlier about AEMO's modelling of VNI West, and it shows that wind farms in Western Victoria will, and this is important, these are important facts and figures, in Western Victoria will lose about 40% of their energy production, and solar farms, and there is a lot of them, is much the same because they do produce a lot of energy. But what good is that energy if you can't store it or you can't transmit it to where it is needed? And you could do that, but what's the point of losing 40% of that in the plan that has been proposed? Plan B can actually do that with far less curtailment and far less points of failure. And that's what we need, because there's already, some people will ask questions about the reliability of sun and wind. So if you have less points of failure in the transmission, then maybe we can keep the lights on. And also for manufacturing, for industry up our way. The manufacturing industry is continuing to boom along with the agriculture sector. These things will be all put at risk if we haven't got reliable energy. Plan B also costs $5 billion less and will save approximately, according to on page 15, go and read the report. I encourage you. It's on the Victorian Energy Policy Centre's website. It's 92 pages long. It's a thrilling read, but go and read it. And you'll see the table I'm talking about. It estimates that it could save energy customers $1 billion.